Thank you, Josh. So as Josh mentioned, I'm founder problematic. And by the way, I apologize for my voice. I had zero voice this morning, and I've got like a third of a voice now, so I'll do my best. But yeah, I built problematic, and the goal here is, or just like the hallucination perhaps, is that I believe we have all the people and tech necessary to literally solve every single world problem. It's just a coordination issue. That is all it is. It's not a scarcity issue. It's not a lack of will. It is just a coordination issue at this point. And so I've dedicated the rest of my life to building this project because I believe it's that important. And then chatting with Yarrow and Erica, we thought, like, what if we could also, with some modification, help Hatch with this stuff, make Hatch hatchier. And so that's what we're doing. But I thought I'm going to show you a little bit about some of the capabilities that y'all have right now just by having access to the portal. But I figure I'd give you a little backstory first on the project. So has anyone heard of Startup Weekend? Has anyone ever been to one of these by chance? A few hands. So I went to the very first one in San Francisco, and I met the founder and became friends. And I was just enamored with this. Like, within 24 hours, we had 150 people in the room. We were on the homepage of TechCrunch with the project that we started. And this is where I really had that epiphany that, like, bringing strangers together, if you give them the right guardrails and the right, environment to thrive, that there's miracles are possible. I think Hatch shares it's the same ethos. And so I was just hooked on this notion that I think that is the answer. I don't think these solutions are going to come from governments because they would have solved this stuff by now. I'm talking about wicked problems. And I don't think they're going to come from corporations either because, half the time it's in their benefit to preserve the problem, right? So I think the only answer is that solutions have to come from the ground up, from inspired and motivated and empowered citizens who figure out how to coordinate together, find your tribe, and figure out how to plug in. So that is the vision. The first iteration of this thing that I started, it was called Charity Makeover. And I love this quote: "I'll never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." And I truly believe that. And so JJ just started doing these events wherever I was in the world: Barcelona, Bali, Argentina, the United States, Portugal. But I'll just tell you two stories. I'll just tell you, we've done like 20 different collaborations for this stuff. But I'll tell you, this is Julia Fossi. She runs a group out of Barcelona. And they've done this for 8 years. It's two women that started this thing. 5,000 people in their Facebook group. And they go out every single weekend. They've never missed a weekend in 8 years. And they feed and clothe the homeless of Barcelona. This is all volunteer operation. We met them when we were there. And they were running this thing out of a Google Sheet. And we're like, man, that makes no sense. Like, let's build you guys a mobile app. Let's do this right. And so we were able to build a mobile app that streamlined it, that took like the 6 hours of admin overhead every week that they were dealing with. But more importantly, we did it, and that app is now available. This can run what they made the playbook for can now be transported and run in any city. Right? It's a mobile app. And again, we built them the website to tell the story, and then this is the mobile app that we made for them. And this is the group that did that in a weekend in Barcelona. The other story I'll tell you is this is Kim Farr. So we met her in Canggu, Bali. She's a New Zealand woman who recognized there's this problem of generational begging and sex trafficking. And so she encountered these women who were victims of domestic abuse, who would then take to the streets, and they bring their kids because the kids would get more donations. And so, but it perpetuated this nasty cycle where then the kids grew up thinking that this is just how you make money. And so when we met her the day before our event that we did, March 14th, 2020 in Bali. And we couldn't not help this woman. So we built them a website, we built them a recurring donation platform, and we taught them how to use social media to promote what they were doing. And this is probably one of the best, this is the site we built for them. And this is a letter I got after they launched it. 100 million rupiah raised in the first month. That's $7,000 at the time. By Bali standards, that's an insane amount of money. And because we built it in a way that was recurring donations, that enabled them to make this like predictable revenue stream. They've subsidized this whole housing development. They house like 100 families that are victims of domestic abuse. And this is carried on way bigger than we ever thought it could have been. right? And that was, again, just this group of people in a weekend did that. And so, this is where this all started, was this concept of charity makeover. I went back to the drawing board in 2021. I won't go into all the details, but it had flaws. Like making charities as the proxy to get to these problems seemed like it was just an extenuated way to deal with things. And so, so I went back to the drawing board and I just took all the lessons from all these events that we had done, and I said what is the essence? What is working? What is not working? And I came up with problematic, the notion that we can actually work directly on the problems. We can launch open source initiatives, we can build companies, we can launch nonprofits. But it's all about how do we coordinate people? How do we make it possible to carry these projects forward after the weekend? And solving all those problems one by one, we came up with an event format. I custom wrote all the software. I'm not even a developer, but I learned no code to do this. And that's the impact portal that you guys see. So with the 2 minutes or 16 seconds I have left, I'll try to show you, these are more events that we ran in Lisbon. If I can have just 1 extra minute, I'll show how to get the most out of the impact portal software. So those of you who have seen this, raise your hand if you've used the intros. Okay, a good number of you, awesome. So you've already seen these intros that came back with who you should meet here and why. And obviously you should meet everyone, but this thing ran an algorithm to help you figure out when I first get there, who can I just immediately hit it off with, right? So that was one goal, but it does so much more. There's this little button, you guys, on the offer ask. I don't know if you can see that, but when you're logged into this thing, and everyone here has a login, you just hit the password reset and you can get in with your email. But that little button appears once you're logged in, and that allows you to go in and to actually propose. So if you're browsing the offer ask and you say, oh, that person should totally talk to so-and-so, you can actually just add it to their profile and say, boom, here, I'll just show you, this is what it looks like. This is just showing you the intros here. But you can, just taking that friction out of making those referrals, and the commitment instrument. When things fall through the cracks and you promise to refer someone but you don't, when it's literally this is 3 clicks and you go, boom, refer Amy, here's why. And then now hit propose and it's on their profile, right? So things like that is just another example of how this stuff can help. The last thing I want to show you here though, with this AI algorithm in the background, you can go in and you can actually put your offer ask. There's a little template for everyone. So you can modify your profile, you can add your offer ask there. The reason to do that is because then the AI gets smarter and it now knows what you need and what you have to offer, and it makes those recommendations even better. And so then if you go back to your member profile page after doing that, there's now this little self-serve button right there, and you can say request AI-generated intros, and those will now be smarter because of it. But there's one thing that I thought, wow, if we could just do this one thing, it would be so cool. What if we had a HATCH GPT, right? What if we could just ask this thing, any question we had, what would that look like? Well, this is what it would look like, you guys. As of 2 minutes ago, this is now live for everyone if you log in. So you can literally ask it any question you want. Yara doesn't have to be the bottleneck anymore. This is a virtual Yara, basically, 24/7 via chat. But yeah, just imagine rolling this out across the entire Hatch network and be able to ask questions of the full alumni network, indexing LinkedIn's, how do we connections, extenuated circles, there's so much possibility. But anyways, that's about, I'm over time, sorry, way over time. So I'll close with it there. I hope this is useful. If you want to use this, you can also use it for your own communities. This is a nucleating thing. You can start it for your own tribe. So come see me if you want to chat. Thank you.
So we're just going to